Since this is a Latin Mass and we have everything in Latin, I decided the homily today is going to be in Latin. So get ready. Just kidding. Just the other day, I came back from North Carolina just to see my folks there. They moved down there a couple of years ago. And during one of the dinner conversations, my dad asked me a question. He asked, was there something that we did? Was there something that we did? Now, let's take it out of context. To give the context, it was, there's talking about, right, where the Lord has taken me in my journey of faith to where I am now. My dad was asking, was there anything they did to contribute in, again, like my journey of faith and where the Lord has taken me here? And I thought that was such an important question because maybe sometimes either as parents or grandparents, whoever, right, we have kids or people that are cared about, that's a question that you might ask, like, is there the secret sauce? Secret way in which, right, the faith is able to be instilled in our kids, right, so that they practice it. And also, when my dad asked that question, I realized I don't think I ever shared with him, right, their role. And so I paused and I thought about what the answer was. Was there something that my mom and dad did? And my answer was yes. In fact, it didn't take me very long to come up with an answer because the answer is relatively simple. I told my dad, yes, there was something that you and mom did. In fact, what helped the most was seeing you guys take us to Sunday Mass every Sunday. Helped the most was seeing you guys pray. My dad, I didn't really see him pray because he prayed like at 5 a.m., but he talked to me about his meditation, right? He would always consistently do it. So I knew he prayed. And my mom, I said, yeah. And then mom, I would see her right in the afternoons when everyone was kind of like, there's a lull, people were taking a nap. My mom would be at the table, dinner table, going through her prayers, the holy cards, sometimes the rosary. And again, it was a family rosary as well, both praying. I said that seeing that, you living out your faith is what really helped me because it instilled in me the belief that the Catholic faith was important. And maybe it wasn't important to me, but I saw it was important to you. And because it was important to you, it was a part of our family. And because it was part of our family, it was becoming a part of me. Now, I share this because as we celebrate the Feast of the Holy Family, right, I think it speaks into the reality we all know, is that the family is meant to be a place that fosters and encourages, right, faith in God. That facilitates laying the groundwork for our children to have an encounter with the love of God in a personal way. But I also think in particular this story kind of shares and highlights the fact that in this duty of passing on the faith is that God can take very simple things, very ordinary things, and turn them into something more. He can take small things and make something great from it, big from it. Again, for my parents, they didn't know it, but it was the simple fidelity, basic fidelity of praying and Sunday Mass, living out their faith. And that simple thing kept me open to it. And the openness to the faith, right, is what the Lord used to bring me deeper. And then later on, the Lord used it to facilitate a call to the priesthood. God took their simple actions and made something big from it. I don't know how many young parents there are here or those who are parents and remember when the kids were young parents who sometimes could put a lot of pressure on themselves, right? They know that when it comes to Sunday Mass, it could be sometimes a battle every Sunday. When your kids are young, just getting them ready for Mass, getting them out the door. And then the dynamics that happen when you're at Mass, right? Sometimes it can be tempting just to not go. It can be easier, but then you go. Or while you're at work and you're thinking always in the back of your mind, things you have to do. Maybe what you're gonna feed your kids that day, who's gonna pick up the kids, right? And you do it. These simple things, ordinary things, caring for the kids, practicing the faith, these ordinary things when faithfully done, they're not to be underestimated. One, because we never know. We never know how God will use those simple things later on in their life. Whether it's in reminding them of a time where, yeah, There's proof that I'm worthy of love. Or simply providing an example of what faithfulness looks like. Or setting the stage for them falling in love with Jesus. God can use it all, and he desires to. He wants to, and we can see this in the scriptures. You can see this, right, in our faith, especially in the season of Christmas. And that God chose to be born into a human family, right? Just with Mary and his foster father, Joseph. God chose to be a part of a human family, and therefore, he also chose to receive from his human parents, to receive formation from them. Pope Benedict XVI, right, in reflecting on our gospel today, where Jesus, 12 years old, remains back in the temple, or stays in the temple while his parents go. He says this about Jesus' love for the temple. Let us ask ourselves, from whom did Jesus learn love for his Father's affairs? As son, he certainly had an intimate knowledge of his Father, of God, and a profound and permanent relationship with him. But in his own culture, he had, of course, learned prayers and love for the temple and for the institutions of Israel from his parents. We may therefore say that Jesus' decision to stay on the temple was above all the result of his close relationship with the Father, but it was also a result of the education he had received from Mary and Joseph. Jesus, we know, is the Son of God. He's divine, right? So he didn't need it. This wasn't necessary. But also being human, God chose. He chose to learn prayers, love for the temple, right? Things about the faith from Mary and Joseph. He chose to learn from their example, their daily devotion, the small and simple things that we don't hear about, but we know had to have happened. And it's in that context of family life that we hear in the end of the gospel, Jesus advanced in wisdom and age and favor before God and man. Not because it was necessary, because Jesus desired it. He chose to receive this way. And so whether you are young parents or empty nesters, want to be married, or part of the church family, don't underestimate what God can do through you, even in the small things. But instead, I encourage you to make an act of faith. I mean, that faith is, Jesus, I believe that you can use all things for good. You can take every action of mine and even my mistakes and use it for your purposes and plans. Give me the grace to be faithful in all the things you call me to do, big or small. Make an act of faith, something like that. And then persevere. Be faithful to God and his will in small matters. And trust that he can do great things with very little.